it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is
Trae.
the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a fantastic Friday. Thank y'all for being on this journey this week with me. I'm really excited because I got some amazing guests with me today, starting with Elizabeth Carter. We're going to be talking about her road as an author and about her book and how it's helping people find their purpose, y'all. So I'm excited to dive in with her today. And later on in the show, we got Isabella in the building. Y'all don't even understand. This has been a long time coming. She is over there dealing with the Black Seattle Film Festival, y'all. And I'm excited because, to be honest, I mean, this is something that has really exploded in this area in such a great way. So I'm so glad that she's joining me. Of course, you know, it is the top of the show, so it's a perfect time to tag and share the stream. That's right. Participate with us, y'all. You're helping us grow. I thank you for it. Just tag and share this stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered. You can listen to us, y'all, anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. Okay, so go ahead and search. You'll find us there. Well, I'm really excited because Elizabeth Carter is up next and she's going to be sharing her journey as an author with us. Welcome, Elizabeth. How are you today?
Doing great. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, this is, you know, there's always a personal tie, and I'd love to start there because there's something specific that made you say, I need to put my experience, I need to put this down in a book to help others. Give us a little bit of those beginnings of this journey.
So for a long time, most of the people in my life viewed me as the go-to person. And so if there was a question, I had an answer. But what they didn't realize was when I went home each day, I was completely empty. You know, I didn't realize that I was an asset or valuable because of how I came up and what I was told. Pretty much brainwashed as a child that, you know, I was nothing and I would never be nothing. So I believed it. So whenever I would pour into others, I felt like somebody. And if I couldn't be happy, I wanted to do everything I could to make them happy. But fast forward, there came a point where I no longer wanted to do that anymore. I no longer even wanted to be here anymore. And that's when the vision came to life. And I learned that there was a name for it, empty. That was a void within me that no matter what I did, it couldn't be filled. And as I began to write, you know, God allowed me to meet myself for the first time. And that's when I, you know, earned my identity because before that, I didn't have it. And so that's why the title is Empty, the journey from emptiness to purpose, because I painted the smile on and I hid behind that smile every day, all day. But now the smile comes from within. It's not a fake smile hiding the pain within.
Yeah, this is so important. And, you know, we had a licensed psychologist on recently, and I've been sharing what she shared here on The Day with Trae with so many in my circle, where it's like, you know, there's three kind of archetypes of people. You know, it's the, you know, hero, the villain, or the victim. And she was explaining it as those who are the hero are the ones that are also known as the overgiver. And it made me do this real self-reflection about, where am I giving from, and
Yeah.
in my spiritual practice, we talk a lot about and understand the practices of how we are actually peace, right? Like that
Yeah.
is our nature. And,
Yeah.
peace and joy really go hand in hand. And I was
That's
really
right.
doing some self diving to be like, am I giving from that joyful place? So I really appreciate your personal perspective here in your body of work. And thank you for making sure I have the book. I'm definitely going to be diving in. What are some of those stories that you've been hearing from readers who are actually finding their purpose and or maybe realizing, wait a minute, I really am giving from that place of empty. Tell us
Yeah.
about how people are experiencing your work.
Well, we actually had what we called question answer from readers of Empty the Book. And so uh, most people call it like a panel discussion. So we had three panel members. And so the one thing that they all shared in common was that if you knew me before you read the book, you wouldn't know I was the same person. You wouldn't have known that I had gone through what I went through because people who have gone through what I've been through are usually bitter. They really don't have nice things to say about anyone because, they just have this animosity within. But I was the exact opposite. I wanted to give what I never got, if that makes sense. And so I go to this community place where women are in transition from, where they were to where they want to be, and they're there waiting for assistance. And so when I go there, I like to, sew my books, and I go once a month. And so this particular day, I walked in, and this lady said, "You're the author lady," and I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Last time you was here, I read your book, the whole book in one night." And she had tears streaming down her face. She said, "That's my story."
Mm.
She said, "How could you know? That's my story." She said, "Thank you so much for being transparent and open because it allowed me to see I'm not the only one." And I think sometimes in this world, depending on your journey, you can go through things, and that's what keeps us empty. Because, number one, we think nobody will understand. Number two, we think we're the only ones going through it. And number three, we think nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that I learned. And I even had an older lady, like in her 80s, that said, "I'm so glad you wrote that book. You made me revisit some places that I pretended never happened. But when things come into my life, it triggers because those things were never healed." And even my own siblings, we never talked about what we went through. And, they've supported me, gave me their blessing to write the story because it's a tough story to tell and it's a tough one to read. But it's not a victim story, it's a victory story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's really, a shift in perspective, right? How you take your lived experience and grow from it is where the inspiration abounds, right? And that's for
Yes.
me where I get really excited because it's like there is such a purpose in everything that we go through. And I
Yeah.
understand some of life's adversities really are there to remind us of these opportunities we have for our own growth. And so
Yeah.
I really love that you have that perspective and that, you had the necessary support around you to really get this written work out. When
Yeah.
you think about some of those top things, I mean, you want readers to gain something when they are
Yes.
in this work. What are some of those major things that you really want readers to walk away with?
So the way I look at it, we can look at many seasons. This book is about seasons like when I was a baby, some things I encountered. I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but I guess it's really good for setting the foundation. So I almost starved to death as a baby. And then at 5, there was another big event in my life. And then between 5 and 6, there was a huge event. And then I go into marriage at 18. And so I enter into a marriage with no social skills. So I think the one thing that I'd like for my readers to glean would be when you're a child, you go through things and you're helpless, but you don't realize that. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, you take that into your young adult life, even into marriage, as I did. But you had no coping skills because when you come from dysfunction, you don't know how to be functional. So you do the best you can, you know. And so it's like a roller coaster ride, but it just keeps flipping and flipping and flipping. And when you have no coping skills, you know, you really don't know where to turn. And I know that sometimes another thing I'd like for the readers to glean is you don't have to stay stuck. You know, everything we need to move from one point to the next is in us. We just need something to encourage us or empower us to take that first step in the direction you truly want to go. And that's what this journey is about. You might be empty, don't have a name for that emptiness, but know you're not alone and know that you can get out. Just start walking in the direction one step at a time to that goal or that destination that you'd like to go. It's
Yeah.
never too late. It's never too late.
Never too late. Absolutely. And you know, the great thing is that sometimes folks just need the spark, right? And just
Yes,
like you said,
yes,
with some of the response you received from the book, you know, folks are saying, thank you for sharing this because
hmm
it's making me want to do something about my situation.
yes,
And that
yes,
spark is sometimes all that's needed to be able to kind of see the forest for the trees, right? Like you can get
yes,
through it, but sometimes they just need it. So I really appreciate you for bringing your written work to book form so everyone can actually experience it. I got to give you a second to
yes.
make sure that folks know how to receive this book. Where do they purchase it? How can folks get it?
All right. Thank you for that. So you can go to my website. It's www.authorelizabethcarter.com, and you will find the link for whatever version you prefer to read. So I have an ebook. The link is there for that. I have a paperback. The link is there for that. I also have it narrated in my voice as an audio. There's a link there for that. And just a couple of months ago, as you can see in that picture, I wrote a journal. It's empty. The journal. It's actually a workbook, and it allows the readers to go through their journey, and they can read the book and then pen their journey. You know, the early years, and you know, some relationships that they've gone through, some things that are triggers in their life. Sometimes when you write it down and you read it, and then you realize you cannot conquer what you won't confront. And that's what this allows you to do. So if you go to www.authorelizabethcarter.com, you can purchase the book in any format that you choose.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for being here today. You are ending our week off with such great positivity. Thank you for the work and for putting your story out there to really help others find their purpose and transform their emptiness. Thank you so much.
Yes. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Y'all, what a great way to start off this fantastic Friday. That's got us looking like a feel-good Friday here. I'm telling you, up next, y'all, the feeling is going to continue. We got Miss Isabella in the building, y'all. I just said Elizabeth because I'm excited about that. Isabella's here. We're going to be talking all about the film festival right here in Seattle. Y'all don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae. What's up, everybody? Trae Holiday here with a special announcement. Something sexy for the city is coming to our town, Tacoma Dome, May 3rd. You want to get your tickets today because you want to see Ashanti, Monica, Maya, Kiki Wyatt, and Anne Marie. Y'all, I have the pleasure of emceeing this phenomenal concert. Join me and get your tickets today for an epic performance from these R&B divas. Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What a fantastic Friday. I actually am going to deem this also Film Friday because Isabella Price is joining me. What's up, Isabella? Yeah, this has been a long time coming. I mean, you've been really intentional and so integral in, the establishment of like how big the film felt. I feel like it started kind of like this thing and then it just kind of grew to like seriously, films from all over the world. Tell us about the beginnings of the film festival.
Well, so I have to admit, though, I mean, I really didn't come in. The film festival had been running for nearly 2 decades by the time that I had come in. And like Steve Sneed and Zola Mumford and Jackie Moscow, there were so many people who had sort of started the film festival. It was first called the Langston Hughes African American Film Festival. And in 2016, the name changed. Like stepping into those shoes of everybody that kind of helped build the film festival to where it is now, to where like there's a new team of people kind of coming in because luckily film is constantly growing and changing, and the Black film landscape has changed so much recently, and so like stepping into those shoes and try to keep it moving, keep it growing, keep the format changing, staying true to like what the message is. Like I'm so honored to be able to do that and allowed to be part of that whole legacy,
Yeah, I mean, it needs folks to continue it, right? And so I love that you were able to step into that space, and you're so right in terms of like this rich history that it's had. And it's interesting because growing up, I didn't understand that we had something so robust right here in Seattle. And I think, over the last probably like 10 years or so, it really started to be like, wait a minute, like there's a lot of film submissions coming from all over the place. And I think that was kind of my aha moment of like, oh, wait, like this is big. And it's so interesting because when stuff starts in your hometown, I don't know what it is, but we sometimes tend to like, let's see how this goes. Is it really going to be a thing? And for it to stick around as long as it has is a huge, example of how impactful it is. Tell us about your role and what you actually do for the film festival.
Yeah, so basically what it is it's mostly curation and programming. So basically I try to watch as many movies as I possibly can, which is, I'm not complaining about that. It's a good gig, and I have to watch movies from every single corner of the globe to try to pull as many filmmakers as I possibly can, not only locally, but also internationally, online, digitally, those kinds of things, to put together a programming of like, here is this year the best slate of the films that I could find from everywhere. So it's a couple hundred films that I have to watch every single year, a couple hundred hours of films, which, like I said, I'm not complaining. Eyes do get dry, but, like after a while of kind of trying to shape, where are we as a culture? What are we going through right now? A lot of the films that we've had in the past, it was like years where it would just be films about police brutality, films about like films shot solo in your room because that was all people could do during the pandemic, films that were kind of really reflective of where we are as a culture. And this year's no different. Like this year's kind of vibe is very experimental. It's very different, different genres, like the to be able to see and shape how Black experiences are being portrayed on film and how we are now taking our own narrative and doing and representing ourselves behind the camera and in front of the camera. I mean, it's remarkable. The technology is so easy to get of, and now everybody, they have a mini studio like on their computer, so everybody can have a chance to kind of tell their thing. So that's basically the job, is trying to pull all of these different stories all together and make a film festival.
Well, see, that's the thing too, because there's so much curation involved, right? Because you think about like, it's beyond thematic,
Yeah.
right? And that's what gets exciting, I think, for, you know, the attendees, those who are in the audience, because really it's like a guided experience. But at the same time, they get to kind of like, okay, I want to explore this
Yeah.
genre, or I want to explore, you know, this style.
Yeah.
And so I love that it's gotten that level of detail in it. And when you think about what it means to have folks, you know, responding, you know, you put this all together and then you kind of sit back and let folks like go through the
Yeah, yeah.
experience. How is it to get that response from all of those who come?
I mean, you know, if people don't like it, they don't like it, and they will tell you straight up, I didn't like this movie. I don't like this. I mean, I still get feedback from like 2 years ago, people being like, I remember you sat me through that whole movie and I hated every second of it. It's like, okay. My whole thing is it's like, one is I'm trying to get something for everybody. And even films that you would never have sought out yourself. You never would have searched that on Netflix. You never would have sought this movie out ever. If I just bring it to you, maybe you'll like it, you know, or maybe you'll hate it. So then you'll know I don't like this movie, but it's always about like sort of trying a charcuterie board of things, maybe new tastes, new flavors, new voices that you've never really thought about before. And so the feedback is automatic. It's immediate. I will hear it at the end of the screening when people are walking out, what they liked and what they didn't like, which I love. I love knowing that because there's no guessing, right? Like I vibed with it. There was something I thought was cool. I don't know what people will think about it. And I think that, you know, kind of pulling things from places that are unexpected, that's the magic. Because then when it's like this film, nobody else liked it, nobody else really thought it was going to be good, but then the audience grabs hold of it and there's a group of people that like it. I just connecting that film to its audience it's magic. It's magic. Yeah.
Well, you can tell you clearly have a passion for this work. That's what, you know, you gotta love when someone loves what they do. It's so evident. And for me, when I'm sitting here, I'm talking to someone like you, it's so evident for me because I'm like, look at the joy, you know, as you're talking about this. But also too, I mean, you know, we films cover all kinds of topics, but I really see them as such a zeitgeist.
Yeah.
As you were talking about, they are such a sign of the times.
Yeah.
And I use that term often because I see it in artworks a lot. All of these different kinds of artworks. When you think about the evolution of dance or of theater or of art or film, there's something that is so uniquely defined in terms of like the times we're in, because so much of it has to reflect that in order for it to draw the audience in.
Right.
So I really appreciate how you shared that, like there you see the evolution of what we're going through based in what the films are exposing us to. And that's really true. But also too, as someone who just loves the work of art, you know, right? Like there's something that is special for everyone in different pieces of art.
Right.
And film is one of those things that I think just draws people to it, right? Because it's like, yo, it's video. It's like you get to resonate with the characters in a deeper way, in a more profound way than some of the other forms. And, you know, to be honest, I feel that in books too, when your imagination can take you there.
Yeah.
And some people have a hard time letting their imagination do that, but it's so important and it's powerful.
Absolutely.
When you think about the things you really are like, yo, I want folks to kind of walk away with these understandings or, you know, with this type of feeling. What is it that you kind of reflect on when you think, I'm curating it like this, the team is curating it like this, because we really want to bring about this feel?
Yeah. I think that for a lot of the times, one is that there's, the more that I watch, the more that I realize has not been told. It's amazing that every single year there's another story, especially of like Black life or Black culture, that I've never heard of before. And the ability to see yourself in media, to be able to see yourself in film, there's a power to that. There's a power to documenting your own story and seeing yourself reflected. And the ability, I think, to empathize with somebody else. Like there's just a universal language of film. We have some films that are not in English. There's no words. It's just, you know, it's just sound and image. And the way that that's a universal equalizer. Everybody can kind of relate to the image, a sound, movement, faces, like people can always empathize with that. So I think that being able to expand how we see ourselves, how we're portrayed in media, and then also how we are allowed to express ourselves, you know? That like we can make excellent horror movies. Black people are making crazy good horror movies, such good science fiction that's coming out of Black filmmakers, genre movies, you know, those kinds of things, Westerns, it's crazy. And to be able to see how our experiences, our culture shapes those things, like it's beautiful, you know what I mean? And like the way that audiences also get to sort of step out of themselves and expand as well, I think is just, I don't know. So I'm hoping that really people who have never seen us portrayed in ways that we like to be portrayed, they get to see us, you know, in a different light, but then also we get to see ourselves in ways that we've never imagined before. So yeah, that's really what I'm hoping.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're right. There's something that is so special about us having access to the technology, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
To be able to tell our own stories, and the fact that there are spaces where those stories could be shown. Because, you know, at the end of the day, a filmmaker wants people to see their film.
Yes.
And so that's really, I think, the key for me, because, you know, as a Black creative, a lot of times you're just told no, like it's not gonna hit.
Right.
And to have a space that's curated for your brilliance, your creativity, is empowering, right? But it's also very impactful in a sense of like, a lot of creatives are finding their path because of spaces like the Black Film Festival. So of course I got to give you time. I mean, if folks are out there and they're like, oh my gosh, this is where I need to have my body of work, or I want to attend, I need to know all about this. Let them know right there how they connect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, so we have a weekend that's full of things going on. One is on April 24th. We have our youth filmmakers that are coming in to show their films from Real Youth, which is our under 18 film program. I'm so proud of them. Then we're showing on the next day, April 25th, 50th anniversary of Blazing Saddles, which I'm very excited about. One of my favorite comedies. We're going to see if that ages very well in the modern era. And then we open up our film festival opening night. We have this fantastic film out of South by Southwest called Songs from the Hole. That is a musical anthology film slash album experience that was made with a prisoner who was incarcerated during the time. He made an album, a visual album, while he was in solitary confinement, and I cannot wait. We're gonna have a Q&A after that film with Nikita, we're gonna have a Q&A after that film with Ajomo Oluo, and I'm so excited about that. And then Saturday and Sunday, the 27th and the 28th, it's films from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to be at Langston, and we're also going to be at Washington Hall. So whatever you're into, there's going to be a film for you. We're also going to have Justin Mika, who's going to be showing his new film, Biological. And then we're going to have a closing night celebration and a champagne toast where we're going to just give thanks to all the filmmakers who have participated in making this year's festival run, and all of our volunteers and all of our staff and everything. So even if you see just one film during the weekend, there's bound to be something in our programming that you'll like. So yeah.
This is exciting, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining. You know, this is a space for you. So when y'all open up those submissions for next year, bring it here so folks can know how to follow this process and stay abreast of all the things that's going on there with the film festival. Thank you so much for your dedication and your passion to this work. I'm looking forward to being there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, y'all, what a fantastic week. I'm gonna wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Looking for laughs? Looking for love? Fast Talking Figaro has got you covered. Toe-tapping melodies, lively staging, and colorful costumes. Don't miss The Barber of Seville, May 4th through 19th at McCaw Hall. Tickets at seattleopera.org.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. See you guys in a few.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
What's up, Seattle, Rose City, Big Boise, Spokane, T-Town? I see you every weekend on Back to Besa. And of course, I'm bringing you stories from all over the PNW. You already know your girl's keeping it real everywhere I go. And of course, you can stream current episodes right now on the Fox Local app, available on your smart TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest today, Elizabeth Carter, with her book, Empty, the journey from emptiness to purpose. Y'all go ahead and get it. She said it's right there at authorelizabethcarter.com. Also, huge shout out to Isabella Price for being with me as we talked all about the Seattle Film Festival. I'm going to tell you right now, it's an amazing curated experience, and they got days for you to come and check out some of these phenomenal films. I also want to thank all of my guests this week, and thank you for joining me throughout this week. It's always been a week for me on The Day with Trae is filled with inspiration, always, and it always abounds. So y'all know I want you to be inspired by all of my guests. There's a way that you can bring your passion, as we just experienced today with Isabella and her passion for films. You can bring your passion to the community. You can do something that you love that benefits others. So just be inspired, y'all, because you can be a part of the solution, as my guests have shown you they are. And I'm going to tell you, for me, I'm always inspired, but it keeps me grounded. So I will that you find a way to allow what we're sharing here to ground you as well. Y'all know, for me, until Monday at 11 a.m., y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.